Hi, everyone. Welcome to the AbhiramLabs podcast, where we talk about AI, tech, and everything in between. Let me first introduce myself. You already know me. I'm Abhiram, and I did my bachelor's in computer science back in India. And while I was doing that, I was really interested in the AI field. I was an early believer that AI would be the future and that every person in the world would have some kind of relation to the AI, maybe in the business or the jobs, or every aspect of life. And that's when I started learning programming AI using, different tools, online tools, mostly free. But, and then I chose to do my master's in AI at USF Tampa. And after completing that, currently I am doing my PhD in medical imaging analysis using deep learning at USF. Now, along with that, I also have been someone with a growth mindset. The growth mindset allows you to believe that you can do a task even if you don't, know how to do it. Like it allows you to believe that given some time, some efforts, some learning, you can do anything and everything. And that's what pushed me harder to learn all these different aspects of programming. And someone else who has this typical growth mindset is Mr. Prabhu Kumar. He's a recruiter turned entrepreneur. He's an expert at finding young, talented people right from the universities. Now, I call him Sir out of respect. Now, the Sir, along with his team, go to different universities, interact with the students there, and their goal is to find out these people who have entrepreneurial mindset and connect them to the CEOs. They want to convert students from job seekers to job creators. Now, I met Sir in one of these events where he came to my university and also helped me get an internship in a startup. Now, Mr. Prabhu Kumar always tries to be ahead of the curve, in any part of the knowledge. And right now, he's actively learning and using AI to see how far it can reach and how to leverage it in different domains of his field or other fields. Now, before we go ahead with the theme of this podcast, let's first understand different people in AI. Hi, sir.
Hi, hi. Thank you so much, Abhi. That was really good hearing so much about me. And to the podcast. So recently, I just while scrolling on LinkedIn, I have observed uh, what's the interesting post which has inviting applications for a cohort from Axel Atoms, where I saw three different groups. And can you help us understand, like, what are these groups of in AI, which is first one called as AI builders? Can you explain and help us understand what, how do they affect the AI industry?
Yes, sir. Now, when you say AI builders, these people are typically, with PhDs whose job is to build, iterate, and improve AI models. Okay? Now, we can safely say that their hard work is directly responsible for what we have seen so far in AI breakthroughs. Okay, most of you might not have heard of these people, but let me give you some examples of the most popular of this group. The first one is Jan LeCun. He's a chief AI scientist at Meta, and he's one of the co-authors of the paper Deep Learning. I mean, if you remotely know or have worked in machine learning, you know how important deep learning has been and how it catapulted machine learning to what we have seen now. And you also have Andrew Ng, one of the early believers that you can use GPUs to deep learning, and the rest is history. Because right now, every part of GPU training, every part of machine learning and deep learning training has to do with GPUs. He's also the founder of Google Brain. And you have someone like Geoffrey Hinton, who was the co-author of many uh, who was the co-author of many crucial AI papers like deep learning, AlexNet, dropout layer, knowledge distillation, and even normalization layers. I mean, if you look at this list, you understand like how much impact this person and the papers he has written have on the AI field. Now, these are typically the first group of people, the builders, the people who create these AI models.
That was very interesting and insightful. So
Thank
I just want to understand. Actually, I haven't come across many people, but except Andrew NG, because I worked extensively with one of my friend Dheeraj. So because of him, I got to know. But as a layman perspective, can you help me understand? Is there any other people who are already part of this journey, and why do they do so much research, and why so much hard work they put in to build this technology? Can you help us understand, Abhi?
Yes, sir. There are still more people. You know, I mean, I'm not sure if you might have heard of these people because I picked the most popular ones. But you also have someone like uh, Andrew Karpathy, who is the head of. I mean, who was the chief scientist at Tesla, and right now he's working in OpenAI. You have you have Jan, who was one of the early writers, who was one of the early authors for the paper of Transformers, and which has helped creating the LLMs. We also have Srivastav, who wrote the dropout layer. I mean, dropout layer literally created a better uh, overtraining performance for all the deep learning models. Now, now, why do these people work so hard? I mean, I don't know about that because I think they have their own perspectives and their own interests. But if you ask me, as an AI builder, why do I build these things? Why do I want to do these things? Just because so much fun, the process of creating these models, failing, you know, debugging the whole code only to find out that you have some basic error in some latent part of the code and fixing that and iterating these models and seeing that these models can do things that we thought were never possible by any machine, right? Now it can classify images, it can classify voice, it can replicate voice, it can create images. I mean, there's a number of things that it can do. I just want to mention that it's still in the early stages. I mean, it can do. It's not that it can do a good job all of that. It can do a basic job, just like an intern. But it has all these capabilities. And to see something that you have built yourself, become like get this glory. That's that feeling is really, I don't know.
It's okay. We can understand. We all are going through that phase only. We are trying to understand how quickly the things are changing and how, the technology is rapidly moving very fast. In fact, a lot of content creation, as you mentioned, like the pictures generated by the AI, even the ChatGPT or other different models. So thank you for sharing about why they have started and the process, especially getting failed and then building or finding the solution aggressively is a consistent effort which actually giving better results for the next generation is what I believe.
Yes.
And coming to the question of like as I mentioned initially, the people were AI builders. So now there is a second group whom I observed is AI enablers. So what is about these people? What about these people? Like what do they do? And how different from AI builders to AI enablers? And can you help us understand with examples also?
Yeah, sure. Now the builders only know and they only worry about building. Like that their whole job is to like create these models, improve these models. Take a model in a specific domain and put it in other domains and see how it works. But they don't know how to create these models in the service, or how to mass produce these models, or uh, how to make these models available for everyone to use at a minimum fees. But that's where AI enablers come in place. Like these people are programmers, entrepreneurs, or mostly both. Simply put, they gather a group of researchers together and they give them all the funding and resources required, and they churn out state of the art models from them. Now they also had another group of programmers in the same time, and their job is to scale these models and make this model cheaper so that everyone can use them. Right? Now, if you look at OpenAI, there are a core set of people who built the earlier versions of GPT, GPT-1, GPT-2, and GPT-3. And once they saw these real stuff that were good enough for the public, that were safe for the public, they gathered a group of programmers who created these APIs, the chat GPTs, all this stuff that lets us easily handle and access these models, right? Now, because if you even want to infer GPT 3.5 or GPT-4, it will take you at least tens of thousands of dollars for a single pass, because those are like really large models with billions of parameters. But now with the APIs, it's not that expensive. Like every one of us can share this model at the same time and pay little fees. Now, some of the most famous or the most popular AI enablers are, to start with, we have Elon Musk. Like, I think that man doesn't need any introduction. Like, he founded OpenAI with a vision to make AI open access for everyone, but that didn't go as he planned. So now we started XAI with a different vision, but the same goal. Now, George Hotz is the founder of Common AI. So another example is George Hotz, who is the founder of Comma AI and TinyGraph. Now, Comma AI is trying to solve the self-driving problem with shipping these small handheld devices which you can connect to your car and it can drive itself. And with TinyGraph, he's creating a new machine learning framework which is focused on simplicity and scalability. Now, right now, NVIDIA is dominating the market of GPUs, and that's not good because it's so easy to nationalize it. So he wants to build software that will put other GPU makers like AMD back into the race. You also have Imad Mostak, who is the founder and CEO of Stability.ai, which is actively developing stable diffusion and also has created a free Willy model out of LLM, so out of the Llama LLM. He's also a major investor of Midjourney. And all these big firms, like everyone in the AI race, like Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, Meta, all of these can be considered as AI enablers.
Wow. That's super. That's super. Like getting to know a lot of insights. Once again, so many things to consume in this podcast. So, a quick question here. When you mention about mass production, so why can't a builders can do that, and why enablers can do that? How is that classified? I mean, how is that happening? Because I believe the people who are doing PhDs, they get enough grants, or else they get very good packages from corporate or university. Why don't they do a mass production? Is the question.
So the grants that PhD people that we get are only to build models, are only to use the data that is available, or even get new data and train and test these models. Now, the thing is, once you have developed a model, it again starts getting boring, right? Now, you don't want to spend your time and effort in something that you're not an expert, like mass production or, or even this scaling, and worry about that. You can actually go to the next iteration of these models. Then you have GPT-3, next you work on GPT-4 and GPT-5 and so on. The list goes on, right? Like Llama 1 and Llama 2. And that's how these people work. So another thing is, these people don't know how to use these models, how to put these models in a market domain so they can be easily used, or how they can be leveraged. Like, I mean, give a good example, right? Now, I have used many deep learning models in the past, okay? And recently, I have seen a few websites, which seem like they have cutting edge technology of AI and everything. And if I look deep into that, and if I look deep into the announcements, they are using a 4 to 5 year old deep learning model, which I already used. I didn't even realize that that's the model they're using, because that's how smart the AI enablers are, to finding these models and picking up and building these whole markets, or even putting this into the markets that actually would leverage them, really, right? Now, currently I'm working with SAM, which is a segment anything model from Meta. if you ask me how it can be useful to the people, because I have been doing these videos and the posts, I've been trying to look into that. For me, it's most likely that you get this AI glasses or VRs. But I'm gonna
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm gonna bet this next year or the year after, you'll get some product from another firm, which you won't even realize that they're using SAM. But if you look they're actually using SAM. Like, we don't know as AI builders how to put these models into the markets so they can be easily leveraged. Yeah.
Got it, got it. So you mean to say the people who are actually building, I mean, building in the sense, the PhD scholars or whomever the main folks who are building, they don't want to get into the boring work on fixing the or someone from subject matter expert uh, can do better things. Is that you mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the boring part because we have a couple of, AI builders who have turned to AI enablers, by creating these
Mhm.
models. We have few
Mhm.
examples like that. But I think it's most that, you were so focused on this core deep learning or machine learning part that in this entire thing of scaling and building these APIs, putting them in cloud, it's so, foreign to you. And you don't want to spend your time and effort learning a new thing. But if your goal is to become an AI enabler, sure, you can do that. And you can spend enough time and, you can become an expert in enabling these models too. But for me, traditionally, the AI builders only focus on iterating these models or building new models based upon the old model.
Understood, understood. So I didn't mean boring. I didn't mean like fixing the issue rather than they focus on next version of getting better things to happen. No? So in that way, I mentioned.
Yes. Yes.
But anyways, let's go to the last last uh, what you can say, like the last person.
Yeah, yeah. Before we go there, I just want to mention that, for me, it's boring. It has been boring, trying because like it's so interesting, to build these models and like trying to improve them. But when you want to again, try to scale them or build websites, you know, as an interface for that, it seems so boring. It seems so what you say plain and not so that the adrenaline rush won't be there. That's what I think is misses for me.
Understood, understood. So let's quickly get into the last segment of AI users. So help us understand who are these AI users and what do they do and what role they play in this the booming technology of AI industry.
Okay, now AI users are the people who are passionate on some particular
Mhm.
domain or some particular product of AI, and they always have an eye, on the new latest releases from these AI enablers, right? But they are one of the first people to beta test these products, give the reviews, in the social media that they followers and uh, to the followers. Some some people also make some basic courses and posts and articles on using this AI. Like, you have these courses on how to use AI. We have courses on how to build prompts for AI, right? So these things, the AI builders or the AI enablers, they don't worry about this because they are busy doing their own job. The AI users take care of this part. Now, typically these people have thousands of followers and subscribers across different media, platforms, and they generally share the latest versions of the products or tools and help us understand, how we can use or how we can access these models for a minimum price.
Understood, understood. So can you tell us like have you come across any person or getting so much fame or light in just a quick part? Like where you observed him, like he's just taking all the information which is already available and we don't know anything. And, just he putting on the internet makes we thinking like, okay, he has done something. Is it any assumptions kind of people also like this?
Yes, there are many cases like that,
Mm.
and my problem is that these people typically act like they are the AI builders or the AI enablers, right? Because they talk like they know what they're talking about, you know. And you also have people who build UI for this open access, already open access products and make money out of them. Like, would you believe if I tell you that the most of the AI tools that you are using right now are available for free? The only thing you are paying for is the easy accessibility, right? If you go to GitHub, you have many different projects, and the issues is very basic. You need to like install Python. You just have a file. You can just install all the packages in a file and just run it. But people don't want to do that. People want a neat interface, with buttons and clicks and all these, magic. And that's where people make money, lot of money out of that. And they earn a lot of fame also, right? Now, the problem with this is, it creates some kind of naivety for the people who don't know like what these AI models are. Let me give you a few examples to make this point clear. Now,
Sure.
few months back, I came across an Instagram reel where a person was talking about their website which can create AI extensions. Okay, now it was already a couple of months after AutoGPT was released. So AutoGPT is little does the same thing. It's a it's a different version of the GPT models which can actually program or use agents to create or do tasks. Okay, I know that it's pretty basic. It can do basic things, like just look for something on Google, or write about some article about some so and so person. Like these are basic things. Uh, but this, but this website that I have seen, I thought maybe it can do a little better, and I asked it to create an audio transcriber using Whisper API. Now, those of whom you don't know, and for those of you who don't know, Whisper already is a audio transcriber, right? It takes audio from your system and it converts it to text. Now, all the model has to do, or all the website that I'm talking about has to do, was to take in import. So, so a few months back, I came across an Instagram reel, where a person was talking about this website that uses AI to create extensions. Now I know,
Interesting.
no, yeah. Now I know that this is something made out of AutoGPT because AutoGPT is similar. It's an open sourced, OpenAI is open sourced. What you can say like something like a framework over GPT models, which can do tasks for you. Okay, and
Okay.
and I know that these aren't really good, but these people were saying that they are. So I just wanted to give it a shot. Okay. Now my task to it was simple. It was to create an audio transcriber using Whisper AI. Is Whisper AI is again an OpenAI's APIs, which will take audio as input and convert that to text. It's just like captioning. And
Okay.
all this particular model had to do was call the import the OpenAI library, give my OpenAI key. I forgot to mention that I also gave my OpenAI key for the channels, the reading plus, and just call it because just give the auto text, you can do all the work that needs to be done. You don't need to do anything. So before I tell what happened, I want to ask you a question. So what do you think had happened? Do you think the website actually gave me the result or not, or what do you think has happened?
As per my knowledge, from technical with interaction with other coders or programmers, so whenever we use API, it actually is all about input and output. So you ask certain, you give an input where you're expecting an output from specific, it could be a specific parameter or it could be an output which is, in your case, when you mentioned Whisper AI, like it's a voice. So then the voice converted into a text, which could be the output. I'm not very sure. Like maybe it has done it. But interesting part for me is you gave your API. Actually, you are giving a lot of access to them. It is not that they're doing everything for you. They made you do a lot of stuff. Is something which I didn't feel the user experience is that great when you mention about this particular website or whatever is trying to create, do the work for you.
Yeah, the auto GPT, actually, requires API, because, it's gonna use some compute, some APIs. So what they could have done is, they could have used their own APIs and charged us some money. But I think they're trying to be transparent because we're still in beta. So they directly asked us the, API key. So, there's no, added fees to that. So like it's completely transparent that, that the money that we are spending is actually going directly to the model. But my question was, like, do you think this model has, actually used the Whisper AI even? Whisper AI is a good API. I'm talking about this auto GPT based model. Do you think it actually has used Whisper AI? And the answer is no. Like, it gave me a half-baked, code which has many errors. And it ended up, sorry?
Seriously? Was it that terrible experience?
Yeah, I mean, it gave me a couple of errors and it took a whole day to do that. I forgot to mention this. It took a whole day to do that. I checked the next day. It had many bugs, many issues. And to top this, it used 40K OpenAI tokens.
Oh my God.
Now, to explain why this is a large number, the month before that, I actually built, an audio transcriber using the Whisper model. And, I have tested it rigorously, for all these meetings, calls and everything, just to see how it works. I think I spent nearly a month doing that. And the whole month, I think it used somewhere around 50 to 60K tokens. And I know that AutoGPT charges, a bit more than other models, but still this number is really huge. And let me give you another example, which will make you laugh even more. I saw a subreddit where a person asked the AutoGPT to get him or buy him a pizza, and he spent $1,000 worth OpenAI tokens to do that.
Seriously? $1,000 for pizza?
Like $1,000 for pizza, right? Now what's the conclusion of this is that these AI models, the AutoGPT model, like even if you search now, you will see a lot of great things. So they can do that, this and everything, and all this bullshit. But they're actually some basic child-based models, right? They're still, child compared to the human, and they are not really smart. They're slightly at the edge of intelligence, and they can do only these basic things. And because we get most of the information of these models from AI users, who typically, use this kind of models for basic things or, for a couple of days, we get the hype is, increase. They hyperbole the actual performance of the model, and we, the users, are suffer from that. Now, let me put you in the perspective. Sir, how would you feel if it spent yours $1,000, to get you a pizza? Like, what would be your reaction?
Seriously, I won't eat for next 30 days. One pizza cost me $1,000. First of all, I wouldn't use again ChatGPT or this AI models. It's never in my life. So I'll be terribly pissed off, and I'll think I might be wrong also, but still then I'll think that AI has cheated me, kind of a thing. So it's a kind of a bad impression, but unfortunately my $1,000 is also worth money of mine. So it's a learning, but still I might start hating AI models for sure.
Yeah. Now I think an average user, doesn't have access or doesn't really have the will to create AI models, would typically be scared of this AI, he would think the whole AI as a singular one, and would be scared of this AI and doesn't want anything to do with AI in the near future or even in the late future. So what's the problem with this is that will make those people lose a lot of money, even more than $1,000, because AI is the future. Okay? It's right. It's not right now. It maybe take some decades. I'm not sure how much, but it is the future. Now, if this early impression of these AI tools, of some AI tools, would create this fear from using these models again, that would be a huge loss for everyone, right? That would be like doing the same mistake that people have been doing in the earlier phases of of internet, of blockchain, or even the early AI stages. So I don't want that to happen to anyone.
Understood.
And you never know, like you can't be sure, because even these people now, have made this habit to put, these research papers, on the screens, in the reels, before they talk about, these tools or these new models. And the problem is, these papers are not peer-reviewed, right? If you go to archive website, I can upload any paper. Even I can upload a paper saying that I created a AI girlfriend and upload it there. And no one will, no one can stop me from doing that, because that's how it works. It's supposed to be like the results or whatever I put in there are not peer-reviewed. But if that paper has to be accepted into a conference, or even at least has been considered into a conference, then it would be peer-reviewed, and then my results and my whatever that I have put in the paper would be true, as closely as true to possible, right? Now most of the people don't know this, and they use these papers as a proof, Now the intentions of the third group of people, the users, are really good. They are crucial to this in this AI, in this AI domain, because they are the ones who can help us get through the AI products and give a brief demo on and look for all these different undermined AI websites that can be really helpful for us. But at the same time, they are not the AI experts, So whatever I would listen from them, I would take it with a grain of salt. But now how do we fix this? How do we bring the AI truth to the people? And when I was pondering on that particular question, I thought about this podcast. Okay, so why is this podcast special, right? We already have podcasts between AI users. There are many. You can find them, a lot of them, in YouTube or other platforms. We have podcasts between AI builders, right? Like Lex Friedman podcast.
Yeah, I heard of it.
So it's Lex Friedman is an AI researcher at MIT, and mostly he brings people like other researchers from other different from different backgrounds, different companies, and different universities. That's really good, but an average user won't really understand what they're speaking, because both of them already have some innate knowledge about the models. But so this podcast, this should be a conversation between a AI builder and a AI user, right? And I think that's that perspective. I mean, the questions you ask and the way I answer them, so that you can understand, would help the people watching this to get a better understanding and better experience of the AI, of any AI model that we would be talking about.
Got it.
And by doing this, the goal of this podcast is to break the barrier, and make intelligent conversations about AI without any hype, and also help people understand the AI, right? We don't want to promote or demote or any kind of models. We just want to check them. We just want to see how can these models be leveraged and how can these models be put into different perspectives of business or even our personal life. Now, and also there's also some other thing, personally for me from the podcast, and it is that I want to become an AI enabler. Why? Because they make the most of money. Look at Elon Musk. Look at OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. And look at Imad Mostek. They are literally billionaires, and I mean they take huge risks, with these AI models, and they're similarly respectively rewarded for that. Now, being an AI builder, like I said earlier, I don't know anything much about, mass producing or creating services from the models, or, how to put these models to different markets. I only know about building, trading, and improving these models, right?
Okay.
And right now, like I said already, I am working on the Meta's segment anything model. And, I already made it work on microscopic images. The pre-trained model from the Meta was not really good in microscopic images, and I did some experiments, some tweaks, some fine-tuning, and now it works good with microscopic images. But I don't know how to sell it to doctors. I don't know how to sell it to health institutes, right? I don't know how to leverage this model to make money, and to help other people by doing that. Now,
Understood.
this really hurts me because for a person who is trying to be an AI enabler, this is like, a kind of something completely out of my domain, something I have to learn from the basics. And because I believe in growth mindset, I think I can do this, but I need some time. So now, on the other hand, you have your own set of challenges as a user. And can you please talk more about them and help us understand, a perspective of a user and on the challenges that he faces becoming a enabler?
Oh, thanks for asking me this question, because as we entrepreneurs have to have a habit of learning new technologies or skills also. So in recent times, I invested a lot in myself. Firstly, like growth marketing, um, content creation, a lot of performance marketing, and even in recent times, I started learning or exploring something called generative AI. So I want to know what actually this AI technology and the chat GPT and all this. And I happened to connect with the like-minded people in a community on Discord, and got to know a lot. I actually explored a lot while creating content creation. So as a user, what I felt is, if I use chat GPT as a user, I get only some part of details, but somewhere I felt where if I can add more value or else find a problem statement and try to build a product around AI or else around the problem statement and with the help of AI including. So I thought like maybe this particular combination may help me to consider into AI enabler also. So, and as an entrepreneur, I'm just telling like, so it's not for me, the tags may not be important, but the point is, as a AI user, I used to just create content, try to understand specific topic, or else finding out, like creating new videos or photos using Midjourney and a lot of other tools. But what I really fascinating with AI technology is all about how can I get more or do more stuff going forward. So that's my personal experience, and I'm happy to share that I'm actually working around like building a product, especially for college students and helping students to do a lot of self-introspection kind of a thing. So, which I'm gonna share in future in our podcast, Abhi. Once again, thanks for asking me this question.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So yeah, the point that you made about ChatGPT, it's I even felt the same because all the settings and and whatever parameters are there for the model, they are lowered down so that it gives you safe responses without any high creative or you know uh, more possibility of making a mistake kind of results. So they try to tone down the. That's what the problem with the APIs. That's what the problem with end products is. But if you use the APIs, you can understand that sometimes it gives some really weird answers. Even then, it has some safety measurements in the training itself. But still, you get some of the answers that you won't with ChatGPT. So if you want to actually understand, how these models work and how, this seemingly artificial intelligence, can make these kind of guesses and speak about things that we ask it for, I think you need to go a step ahead and start, building or even training or fine tuning your own AI models. So on that note, I want to address the audience. So if you're an early programmer who wants to build a career in AI, or an entrepreneur who wants to introduce AI into your company, or maybe an experienced developer looking to change jobs, or you're just interested in AI and want to have some fun, this is for you, right? I know you might have already seen people talking about, making passive income with AI, taking this prompt, putting it in ChatGPT, making audio from that, and vagera vagera. But that's not all this podcast is about. This podcast is about making a business, an actual business with AI that runs even longer than your lifetime and creates money even when you're asleep, right? So if you want to become a part of this, if you want to become a part of this journey, please continue watching this podcast because both of us will embark on a different adventurous journey where we try to create an AI product with our own set of challenges and expertise, trying to put these two powers together and building something that would help at least some part of the world. So that's it for this podcast. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. Any kind of comments, good or bad. We just want to know, how you felt about this episode. I just want to be clear that this is our first podcast for both of us. And, we are not as much experienced as your other podcasters. So any mistake that we made, anything that did not make sense to you or anything that we were not clear about, please let us know about that. We will read all the comments and we'll try to reply them or put a section about to explain better on that part in the next episode. Thank you.
Exactly. So what my friend Abhiram is trying to tell you is we want your honest responses. And with such responses, we can actually make this information or the experiences for you much, much better. And we also try to pick topics from your comments. So keep just commenting and share your perspectives or views or any suggestions also. That will definitely help us give more value when it comes to this particular podcast journey for both of us. Thank you so much. See you again in coming week. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you.